Hey, Sparta86, how's it going? How's everything? I thought I'd just broadcast briefly, I guess. You're actually awake? Are you usually asleep at this time? I don't know where you live. Hey, Clementine C, how's it going? Hey, R Wolf. So, as brought to my attention today, hey, Allison, how's everything? Hope you're feeling better. I mean, I think you said you were, so. So, by the way, like, you guys may be interested in knowing, like, the video I did on Dan and Phil and the Psychic Twins is actually, like, fourth or fifth in the search results on YouTube when you search for Dan and Phil still, and I made that video more than a month ago, so that's cool. um, well, you've been, have been for a bit too much work. Are you having to work hard right now? I'm glad you're well, R Wolf. Yes, I guess it is pretty cool, especially Charlie is getting back together with Alina. Really? Um, I did see. Is that true? um, that seems kind of like a surprise because at first they were both saying that they would never get back together. Um, I did think I saw like him sort of say in one of his like I got a notification for one of his broadcasts of him saying something like he might be getting back together, but sometimes he does sort of like clickbaitish things, so I didn't know. Um, hey Darren, is it because like she's pregnant? Is that like the reason, or? I mean, they're probably not going to say that's the reason. And thank you so much for the 50 likes, Davern. And thank you for inviting your fans. And thank you, um, let's see who. Thank you, Sparta, for the. I'm sorry, what did you just give me? But thank you for what you gave me, Sparta. Um, and I tried to find news about a DaddyoFive being charged, and I can't find anything. But I believe there's a video out there. Yeah, so I guess this is what's going on. Like, somebody, like, actually, one of my fans, told me that told me about it. I didn't even know about it. You know, the person who goes by cliche name, and yeah. So actually, there was this one person who, um, let's see, who tweeted out like a screenshot. Oh, thank you, Chester, for the 50 likes. A screenshot from the I guess from the Maryland court saying that like both DaddyoFive and MommyoFive have been being charged with like a misdemeanor child endangerment. And Keemstar reported on it, but not that much is being said about it. But I actually did go to the website myself, and it's true. If you enter like Michael Christopher Martin, it does say that he's being charged with a misdemeanor count of child neglect. And I don't know, like I guess in Maryland, like you could face up to 5 years for child neglect, even though it's a misdemeanor. Yeah, and like Keemstar reported on it. Keemstar said that they were found guilty. That it doesn't say that they were found guilty. It says that they're just being charged with it. Um, and I guess they could get a maximum of 5 years, but like they haven't actually been convicted. Hey, cliche name. We were just talking about DaddyoFive, and I want to thank you for like telling me about that. And like, here's the thing. Like, interestingly, like Philip DeFranco hasn't said anything about it, and he was like one of the ones who talked the most about it. I don't think Joy Sparkles has said anything about it, but like, I mean, she's sort of taking a break from YouTube. Um, but I did see a couple of other videos on it. But for the most part, it's like because this case was all over the mainstream media, and like I didn't see like a press release made by like the law enforcement or the prosecutors. But it is true that what is the Civil War about? A TF is the new Git sticker. What do you mean? What's the new gift sticker? What the fuck is the new gift? Oh, you mean like down? You mean like the Coke one? Yeah, I guess like there's the you now is promoting this. Thank you, R Wolf, for the 50 likes. You now is like promoting this product called like frozen Coke or something like that. And I've never heard of it either, but I guess it's a Coke product. It's like frozen. That's what you're talking about. All the YouTube squads and diss tracks. Oh, okay, yeah, um, what squad are you in? I mean, I guess I'm not part of any of those squads. So are you talking about the because like I can't really see it since I'm broadcasting, I guess. Although maybe I should. But maybe I should be able to. But you know, I do see an ad down here for like frozen Coke. So yeah, is it the frozen Coke thing that you're talking about? Because I did see that earlier. Yeah, that's it, frozen Coke. So I guess that's some sort of I've never. I mean, I guess it's a new product or something. Um, like you now is definitely like you know being sponsoring that and all that. Um, oh yeah, no, thanks for using your free spin on me. So I mean like so his my guess is the reason why there hasn't been a press release because I did go to the actual official Maryland court site and they actually are being charged. So it's true that they're being charged with misdemeanor endangerment. And my guess is that since there was a gag order in the child custody case, and I guess the child custody case is still going on, because sometimes when one case is sort of related to another, the gag order might apply to that case as well. So my guess is the reason why they're not like the prosecutors or the cops have not released like any sort of press releases on the fact that they're being charged. Because I also looked at Mike Martin's Twitter and he didn't say anything about it either, on Twitter at least. Also, MommyoFive, she uploaded a video a couple hours ago, but she didn't say anything about it. So my guess is that because sometimes when there's a gag order on one case and then there's another case that's related, because like whether they're being charged, like if they're facing like child neglect charges, it would be related to the custody case. It might be that the reason why we don't see any like press releases, at least from the cops or whatever, or from the government, or any statements from Mike Martin, is because of the gag order. That's my guess. That's because it's kind of inexplicable that there wouldn't be any press release like this, because you know it's been a very high profile thing. It's been all over like the mainstream news and stuff. Yeah, that's that's my theory. Look, I'm not a legal expert, but that's my theory. That's the only thing that could explain it. Because I do know the gag orders don't really apply to like it doesn't really apply to like a reporter or whatever, unless that reporter happens to be a party to the case. It also doesn't really apply to YouTubers. I mean, I know that there are some people that said that like Joy Sparkle shouldn't be talking about it because of the gag order, but I don't really think a gag order would apply to just like a YouTuber who's not part of it. However, gag orders do apply to, like the defendants. It also applies to like the prosecutors. It also usually applies to like cops and stuff. So it would mean that like they couldn't make any official statements. But I probably wouldn't apply to someone like Philip DeFranco. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't said anything about it yet. What about FaZe Banks? I don't follow the FaZe guys that much. I mean, I hear a lot about them, but what happened to him? Hey, Flog, how you doing? So, yeah, I could play. There are some videos on it. Most of the videos that I've seen on YouTube pretty much just say that they've been charged and don't have too much more information. And yeah, like I said, like MommyoFive. Yeah, I can play some videos. MommyoFive. Hey, Jaden, how's it going? Welcome to my broadcast. MommyoFive posted a video just 2 hours ago, and she didn't say anything. If you go to Mike Martin's Twitter, he's not saying anything about it. So that might all be because of the gag order. But still, like I would think that the press would eventually start to say something about it. And Keemstar said something about it. But like the one thing about Drama Alert is that like you don't really get like the full story from Drama Alert. Lots of times they just like cover something for like 5 seconds, and I wonder if Scarce said anything about it. Let me just look up. But he might have not either. Like surprisingly, I didn't see anything from Philip DeFranco. What's up, guys? It's Scarce. Well, he's not saying anything in the title. Oh, did Scarce cover it? Oh, okay, in this 1 hour in this newest video.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scares here, and today we have a lot of news to talk about. Actually, the first story here is big man. This one comes from FaZe Banks and Christian Burns. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know who Christian Burns is.
I haven't seen this video
yet, He's probably like the most hated guy on YouTube. Pretty much this guy was like an Instagram model, and he ended up talking a ton of shit to some VidCon security guards. And he called them peasants, and he said that he makes more money than them, and he was just
this guy's almost like unreal.
Asshole.
Like,
people
it's hard
really
to believe.
hate him for that. And then he ended up showing up at the Team 10 house, and people even hate the fact that he showed up at the Team 10 house and started screaming at Jake Paul and stuff, and he was saying some stupid stuff, and then some guy
I think I'm gonna go to the
Team
10 house and like
a little pussy, I guess
stream at Jake Paul. I think I should do that. Live stream
So obviously, a lot
I don't live that far from it.
And FaZe Banks actually really does hate Christian Burns. He tweeted out a couple times about the Christian Burns situation a couple weeks ago after my video on it.
Should I do that? Should I go to?
Thinks that Christian Burns is like a little pussy. Well, Christian Burns is back again, and he tweeted out last night saying, "I'm tired of your bullshit threats, fam. Expect a visit soon." Okay, so he's straight up like threatening FaZe Banks here, saying that he's going to visit his house maybe and try to confront FaZe Banks. So FaZe Banks tweeted this out last night. He said, "My dad's in the hospital right now on some pretty serious shit." I was
thinking about like going with my friend to like the Team 10 house and like playing like Everyday Bro on the car radio like really, really loud to show that like, you know, we're Jake Paulers and stuff. But like I heard that like what I heard, I mean I haven't been there but I heard that, like, because, okay, like, in West Hollywood, really sucks for parking tickets. They give you parking tickets really, really fast, and he lives in West Hollywood. And, like, apparently on, like, that block, like, at least they were trying to give people parking tickets, like, immediately when they park. Because, like, on blocks like that, you can't park without a permit. You have to live there and have a permit. So, like, I guess they're trying to, like, give people, like, parking tickets, like as soon as they try to park, you know. But I guess you could always try to, well, walk there, I guess. I mean, I could park at my friend's house. He's not too far.
Right now, trying to figure out when I can get home and send healthy vibes, please. I hate this shit so much. I hate this feeling so much. He's the best person ever and doesn't deserve this. He means everything to me. So obviously Banks tweeting about some very serious shit right here, dude. And obviously everyone's sending Banks support in the situation because it's some serious stuff. And if that happened to any of our dads, you know, that would be a very, very scary situation. Well, Christian Burns responds to FaZe Banks' tweet, and he says, "Nobody gives a fuck." So Christian Burns is straight up just talking so much shit on FaZe Banks, and he's just being an idiot here, because it looks like FaZe Banks
pretty much this is
to actually
this is a Scarce. Scarce is kind of like the big competitor of like Drama Alert. So he's sort of like Keemstar, and you can sort of say it's sort of like the TMZ of like YouTube. Yeah, I mean they focus on YouTuber drama and things like that. I mean, like Scarce, like I find Keemstar to be a little bit more obnoxious than Scarce, but
fight Christian Burns tonight. That's right. FaZe Banks tweeted out saying World Star, and then Christian Burns started tweeting out about fighting FaZe Banks again. And it looks like these guys are actually going to fight tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to get a video of them fighting tonight. We're just going to wait and see. But I honestly think they are going to fight tonight, guys. This is going to be fucking massive. Also, speaking of FaZe Banks and his whole squad with Rice coming
all those guys, I think Scarce seems nice. Yeah, Scarce does seem like a nicer guy than like Keemstar.
Erica, who's Jake Paul's girlfriend, and he tweeted out here saying Chanel versus Walmart, and he shows a picture side by side of Alyssa Violet, and he also shows a picture of Jake Paul's girlfriend. I guess, you know, she's wearing clothes that must be cheaper, dude. I mean, you can kind of tell, right? Also, it looks like Pyro uploaded a new video today where he actually investigates the KSI leaving Simon situation. He says here that he thinks it's fake. I mean, he says here it's got to be fake. And he
I'm not a huge fan of Keemstar. Like,
why? I've talked about this a lot the last
thing about Keemstar is like, look, he seems like the kind of guy that, like, you know, he would sell you out, you know, to get like, to get views. You know, he seems like the kind of person that you can't trust too much. You know. But I don't know.
I honestly do think it's faked, because if you don't know, Vicstar only a couple days ago said on his live stream that KSI is just a big troll, and he straight up said that on his live stream, and honestly, it's making me think this entire thing was faked. I mean, just watch this. It's all stuff.
Okay, so the 30-mile zone, since you asked, I do know what that is. That's the 30-mile zone is approximately 30 miles from let's see, I believe like the intersection of La Cienega and is it Beverly, and that's either in Los Angeles or it's in West Hollywood. It's in like the Los Angeles area, and like at least at one point that's where the Beverly Center is now. But at least at one point that was where, and it still might be like where the headquarters of sort of like a producer's studio's trade organization is, and this is like the organization that like collectively negotiates with like the actors unions and things like that. So within the 30-mile zone is when, so within approximately 30 miles of that from that intersection is where you can film movies and stuff like that without having to pay extra accommodations. Like if you want to film outside of the 30-mile zone, then what you have to do is you have to like pay, to have like hotel rooms and things like that for the actors and for the crew and all that stuff. Whereas if you're within the 30-mile zone, and that I believe does go down into Orange County, it's mostly like Los Angeles area. And part of it is actually a little bit further than 30 miles because like parts of Malibu is actually kind of far and out of the way in LA. I mean, it's a very exclusive area, but like the northern part of Malibu is probably a little bit more than 30 miles from that intersection, but so it's approximately 30 miles, but like within that 30-mile zone, there's a tremendous amount of like filming and stuff like that. And so that's what the 30-mile zone is. Does that answer the question? And yeah, it's also has to do with like a union agreement where like the studios don't have to pay for extra accommodations or whatever if they're shooting within the 30-mile zone. It's up to like the actors and everyone to get to the shooting location if they have to, shoot there. Are you saying good night? So Ryder will have a good night. So there you go. That's what TMZ is.
Just to stop my stream chat getting spammed about it, if any of you know a guy called KSI, all I'll say is that he's a massive troll. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
And for our next story today, we got one here from Comedy Shorts Gamer. So Comedy Shorts Gamer uploaded a new video today where he actually announced at the end of his video that he is going to be making a Sidemen diss track on Friday. So get ready for that diss track. I'll definitely be sure to tell you guys about it when it comes out. It's going to be huge. And speaking of KSI and the Sidemen, it looks like ever since KSI tweeted out...
Like where I live, I'm in the 30-mile zone.
He hasn't posted anything on Twitter. It's been like a couple days. But he just tweeted something out this morning. And this is his first tweet since he tweeted out about leaving the Sidemen. He said, "A storm is coming." So it looks like maybe his Sidemen diss track is going to come out in the next day or two, or some other even bigger drama is going to happen in the next couple days. I'm actually very excited about this. I want to see what's going to happen. I thought it was going to happen tonight, but it looks like that's not going to be the deal. It looks like it might happen tomorrow or the next day. So just wait for a fucking huge amount of YouTube drama to happen with KSI soon, and I'll definitely be sure to let you guys know about that when it does go down. And for our next story today, we got one here from Cash Nasty Gaming, another YouTuber known as So Illuminati. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. Hopefully I didn't fuck it up. I might have pronounced it wrong. But pretty much Cash Nasty has like 2 million subscribers. So Illuminati has a couple 100,000 subscribers. And both these guys talk...
So are you sure that Scares mentioned... because he didn't put like DaddyoFive in the title. Hey Haley. Glad to hear you're doing better. Yeah, don't let that person like troll you like last night or whatever. Sorry you got trolled like that. But I guess it happens to everyone, so. Okay, so I'll just look up some DaddyoFive videos, and like I did look this up independently, and it is true that like that screenshot is real. They are. Is there any comment that has timestamps for the video? What do you mean? Which video are you referring to? Okay, I mean, I guess maybe I could finish the rest of Scares. What are you talking about? Or Wolf? The Scares video. Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of comments on the video. And the video was released 2 hours ago, which as you know, really means anywhere from 2 to 3 hours ago. Like timestamps for the news. Well, okay, this video came out like 2 hours ago, or 2 to 3 hours ago. Is that what you mean? No, I haven't found, like, if I go to Google, there's no, like, mainstream press organization that's talking about it. But they would be allowed to, as long as they're not parties to the case, but maybe they just haven't picked up on it yet. Like I said, maybe because of the gag order. I'm assuming, this is just my assumption, or, this is my speculation, I should say. So just take it just realize I'm just speculating here, but I would assume that the reason why the police and the prosecutors have not made any official statements to the media is because of the gag order. I don't think scarce timestamps, specifically timestamps, like each topic. See, okay, so there is this one video from Based Mama. This video, I mean, I saw it. She basically didn't say. This is somebody else's stream. God, we're watching a stream in a stream. Although I've seen it done before. Okay, let's see. I'll just look up videos made today. I could go check the scare stuff, but okay, I mean, if you want to, sure. I mean, like, I did see, like, Keemstar say something about it. Obviously, scares didn't make it, like, the most important thing in his, okay, you know what? All right, so his Based Mama. Now, she doesn't really have too much information
all 3 of the
besides.
harmful foods I'm going to show you right now are labeled and marketed.
Hey guys, guess what? It's Based
She doesn't really have anything to say besides.
Today,
She's happy that they're being charged.
Just a few minutes ago, something amazing happened.
But she is saying that they're being charged.
We're charged with criminal neglect of a child. Finally, after 4 long months of Frederick County Police,
I can watch other people's broadcasts, but just not going live. You mean
they finally decided, hey, you know what?
What do you
Maybe
mean?
we should file charges against these pieces of shit. So they finally did, and I'm really excited. I'm sure Rose and the kids are breathing a huge sigh of relief. I would be if I were them. I'm so happy for Rose. I'm so happy for the kids. I'm so happy that finally there's some kind of movement on the criminal aspect.
So basically, like, she doesn't say anything.
This lack of
like,
has been a massive holdup
except that she's happy about it. You see what I mean?
Being able to go home, of course, I can't confirm.
I mean, I'll say this, like, I'm not saying that, like, they shouldn't be charged, but I don't know, like, she's saying, well, you know, the kids can now be happy. Well, I don't know. I mean, the kids are still going to get, like, a lot of media attention, you know, and, like, having your parents go through, like, these kinds of charges can be hard on the kids. I'm not saying that, like, it shouldn't happen, but I don't know if this means that everything is going to be better for the kids. I mean, hopefully, though. Oh, okay, we're not going live. Well, that's okay, Haley. You don't have to go live every day. Why is she wearing earbuds? I don't know.
Confirm that because you can't talk about it. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I won't know. But I am really excited for Rose and the kids. I'm just so excited for Cody and Emma. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess, like, so far, like,
just going back to, you know,
they, like, I guess Emma and Cody can, are living with their mother now, and I guess that case is still ongoing, but at least, like, temporarily, like, for now, they're living with their mother. Probably for a good microphone, yeah, probably something like that. Like, you know, sometimes when you record, you want to be able to hear what you hear, but I don't know. But I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I mean, on the other hand, it may not be that great because, like, I guess 3 of the kids, like Cody and Emma, they're the ones that were abused the most, but they're also kids of Rose's kids and Mike Martin's kids. But then, like, Mike Martin and his newest wife, the other 3 kids are Mike Martin's kids and his wife's and Heather Martin's kids, and they're both being charged. So I don't know what's going to happen to those kids, especially if their parents have to go to jail. I guess I guess if their parents go to jail, then they would have to be put in foster care, or, you know, they'll have to find someone else that they can live with or something like that. They have to be adopted, which would kind of suck. I mean, because I don't know if Rose would take in the other 3 kids. I mean, because she would not be obligated to. I mean, I know that the Emma and Cody would be able to live with Rose, but I don't know what would happen to the other 3 kids. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be charged or anything. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know what would happen. I mean, these things. Oh, okay, well, thank you. 736 on Scarce's videos. The other 3 kids aren't Mike's. Oh, okay. So the other 3 kids, but Heather is being charged with. So Heather has another husband, or they have another father. Is that what you're saying? So maybe, I guess those kids, if she has to go to jail, then they would live with the father. Okay, I did not know that. I thought that the other 3 kids were his. So okay, then I guess like they probably would go to live with, if they were put in jail, they would live with their father, most likely. Oh yes, she has an ex. Hey Kaylee, how's it going? So it's a scarce 7:36.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scares here, and today we have a lot of news to talk about. Actually, the first story here is big, man. This one comes from FaZe Banks and Christian Burns. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know who Christian Burns is. So it looks like DaddyoFive kids, and now it looks like they're both being, according to right now. And for our final story today, we got one here from Nick Monroe. Now, this guy tweeted out today saying, update on the DaddyoFive stuff. Mike and Heather Martin were recently charged with 2 counts of neglect of a minor, according to court filings. So it looks like DaddyoFive, the YouTuber that was in a ton of drama a couple months ago, the guy who made vlogs of him pretty much like doing some serious child abuse, and him and his wife eventually lost custody of 2 of his kids, and now it looks like they're both being charged with a count of child neglect. So that's a pretty big deal, man, and we looked this up, and I think they're just going to get a misdemeanor for this. If they had any priors when it comes to this stuff, they might actually get like a felony for it, but we don't think so. And that's it for our video today, guys. I hope it enjoyed.
So he doesn't have too much information either.
And I'll see you guys.
Nobody really has too much information besides that they're being charged. And I actually went... I mean, you guys can go to the website yourself, but I decided to go to the website myself, the Maryland official like court's website. And if you do look it up, like, yes, it does say that both of them are facing a misdemeanor charge of child neglect. I know that child neglect is like the most common type of like child abuse charge that people are charged with, and I know that it's kind of got a broad definition because it often means that, like, you know, you're failing to meet like the child's needs, which could be emotional, psychological needs. It could also be like, you know, their physical needs and their health needs. It's also dependent upon what you can afford. Like, if you can't meet your child's needs because you're too poor, then you're not going to be charged with it. Thank you, Michael Anthony, for the 50 likes. I appreciate it. Matthew Anthony, not Michael Anthony. So it's a fairly broad charge, but they're definitely, you know, you can say, you know, and here's the thing, you know, I personally did not see any of the DaddyoFive videos. I watched part of one of them, and in that one video, I thought that maybe it was fake because it seemed kind of ridiculous. It seemed kind of extreme, like, you know, they were especially like if you say the DaddyoFive, like they were in this one, they were like trying to play a trick on like Cody or whatever, and I thought that maybe, you know, this is fake because even though it seemed kind of extreme, but I thought, well, maybe it seemed extreme enough that I thought that maybe they're just like faking it or it's acted. But I guess maybe it wasn't fake, you know. I mean, it was extreme enough that I like first thought, well, you know, maybe this is fake. But I didn't really see any of their videos all the way through. And I have seen the clips of videos, like, you know, that Philip DeFranco showed and like other channels showed. What Allison says, when I first watched a DaddyoFive video, I was in total shock. Yeah. Well, the first thing I thought was that it's maybe just like a setup, that it's like, you know, like staged. But yeah, I was surprised that they were like playing, you know, like, you know, these sort of cruel jokes, mostly on Cody. But then I also saw that video on where they were telling the other kids to like slap the girl Emma. So I guess in that video, and that I didn't see, that I saw on Philip DeFranco, but it was an actual clip. You said I knew it was real because the kids were crying and it seemed legit. Oh, really? Well, okay, I didn't watch this whole video, so, like, the kids weren't actually crying in this video. But I was saying that, like, DaddyoFive was saying, hey, you know, we're going to play this joke on, like, your brother, and, like, the other kid was like, oh, yeah, you know, fuck Cody, let's do that. And it seemed kind of, I thought, though, that these guys were at least half brothers, though. I didn't realize. Vegan Charles H., thank you very much for the 50 likes. I really appreciate it. But, you're Charles Heiston, so I'm not so sure I'm going to not block you here. So, but maybe if you're tolerable, I won't. Cody was diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, which makes these pranks even more wrong. Yeah, I mean, oppositional defiance disorder is kind of a strange one because in some ways it's sort of like, it means that you question authority and stuff. I've always kind of wondered about that. But Cody does sort of seem like maybe he has ADHD and stuff. I don't know, maybe he got oppositional defiance disorder because of the way his parents treated him. I don't know. So what do you guys think about like FaZe Banks? You know, like I don't really follow the FaZe guys that much, but I guess he's the one that's living with Rice Gum, huh? So yeah. Anyway, so a little bit about I'm still surprised though that like there haven't been any mainstream media articles on the DaddyoFive thing because they would not be constrained by a restraining order. Hey Grayson, um, I don't follow FaZe Banks. Yeah, you know I don't follow the FaZe guys that much. I mean, I know that they're like gamers and stuff. I just have never been that interested in them. It's not like I know that they're talked about a lot, but I just have never been that interested in them. I know one of them had some issues with Sniper Wolf. I never really liked Sniper Wolf that much. I'm not. It's kind of hard for me to put my finger on it. Thank you, Grayson, for the 50 likes. Some of the people who sometimes troll me are being nice to me. Well, I guess as long as you're nice to me in my broadcast, I won't block you. But cliche name, yeah, me either. So our opening match victory. So yeah, so anyway, what else was I gonna say? I was gonna say I don't know if you guys noticed, but my video. I think I said this earlier, but not all of you heard it. My video on Dan and Phil. If you go to the search results on Google, or excuse me, on YouTube, my video, even though it's more than a month old, is like either the 4th or 5th top video on the search results on Dan and Phil. So that video is still getting views. That so far has been my biggest video. Let's see. Sometimes I take down broadcast notes, but it looks like I didn't take down too many. On and off my YouNow and Twitter notifications have not been working very well. Oh, I'm glad you liked the video I put out today. Thank you. Is there anything you had to say about it, like why you liked it or whatever? So yeah, you know, I think that like I guess it's like overall a good thing, you know, even if it's not a felony. I guess overall it's a good thing that they're being charged with child neglect. Now, like I said, I haven't actually seen. I never saw their videos except for like I watched part of one of them, and it seemed so. It did seem so crazy to me that I thought that it was maybe like just a stage thing, like they weren't really like this, you know. And you know, like because like I guess these kids hadn't taken any acting classes, but you know there are child actors, and child actors can like you know cry. I mean, look, I'm from like LA and stuff where a lot of people are actors, and so there are professional actors that can like you know fake crying pretty effectively, including children, you know. And like I think most of those videos have been taken down, although I've seen like some you know mirrors of them like put up and stuff like that. I also know that like if you go to like Mike Martin's Twitter, like he doesn't say anything about it. Like what's his wife's name again? Is it Michelle or something? But you know, like I said, I think that that's probably because of the gag order. Because I think the reason why the cops aren't saying anything about it, and the parties and Mike Martin's not saying anything about it, and is because, like, if there may not be a gag order on this case, but since it's a gag order on the custody case, and since this case would definitely be related to the custody case, because like you know, Rose or whatever could argue, well, if so and so is being convicted of child neglect or whatever, that would like help her case in custody, since that would mean that like the gag order would probably apply to this case as well, and which means that like the police couldn't make a press release, and neither could the prosecutors or like the defense attorney. Heather Martin. Let's see what she says on Twitter. Okay, maybe is it MommyoFive on Twitter? DaddyoFive's wife. Okay, yeah. So this looks like it. Well, she's got 5,000 followers. So would this be her real account? it's not verified. But I guess if I go to Mike Martin's account, let's see. I'm pretty sure this is Mike Martin's account. It's got 35,000 followers. Let's see who he's following. If he's following her, then it's probably... Let's see, I'll search. Okay, so I'll assume that like this account with the 5,000 followers is MommyoFive. Let's see. She's not saying anything about it either. Going back. She retweeted his tweet, which is a tweet of her video. New vlog up in 5 minutes. So, you know, that might actually be, because I definitely did go to the actual website, and it's true that, like, they are being charged, and so that means that they would not be able to make any, like, public statements, you know, to the press or to, like, you know, or on social media or anything like that, so that might explain why they're just not saying anything about it. That's my guess. I'm still kind of surprised, though, that the mainstream media hasn't picked up on this yet, but maybe they will within the next few days. You would think so, because, I mean, this case has been, like, all over the news. You know what I mean? Like it's like, in the mainstream media. Like, I'll see what Drama Alert has to say. They didn't say much, and they also actually kind of got it wrong. They said that they had been convicted. They haven't been convicted. They're just being charged.
There, you don't want the zoo. You're saying you don't want to annoy your neighbors anymore.
Wait, this
just brings up the Post Malone situation. Didn't you put him in the... Believe you. I don't think she's that stupid. Also in the news, last Drama Alert, we talked about Jake Paul's girlfriend, Erica Little Girls. Oh, she's fired. You guys were, like, begging me on Twitter to upload, but I saved something just for a rainy day, and it's this thing I call reading Jake Paul's old tweet.
Right. I think maybe it's more towards the beginning.
What is up, Drama Alert? DaddyoFive. For those of you that don't know, DaddyoFive is a YouTube channel where they used to prank their own kids. And a couple months ago, the parents got exposed for beating up on the kids.
Keemstar does make a lot of errors.
Each other. I mean, this was a very, very big story. The last update we got is that 2 of the children were taken away from the parents. But today, the parents of DaddyoFive were convicted. Nick Monroe, an independent journalist, tweeted
they were not convicted. They were just charged.
DaddyoFive stuff. Mike and Heather Martin were recently charged with 2 counts of neglect of a minor, according to court filings. God damn! So we looked this up to see what they're facing, and according to our research, they're looking up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. They went from DaddyoFive to Daddio3 to now Daddio0, also in the news. Now, this is really...
That's the other thing about Keemstar is he really glosses over his stories, like, very quickly, giving very little detail. But I guess the thing is, like, I haven't found very much detail on this story at all. Yeah, because, like, no one's making any statements about it. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Are you guys interested in the DaddyoFive thing? You know, I guess the thing is, like, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be convicted or what kind of sentence they're going to get. Since it's a high-profile case, they're probably going to be charged. Like, because, like, the thing about what they say about prosecutors is like, defense lawyers that are not public defenders, like, they have to. It can be difficult to win cases when you're a defense lawyer, just because a lot of people say the system is sort of against the defendant. But, like, defense lawyers have to have a good reputation if they want to make it on their own. Prosecutors, they get paid the same amount of money whether they win or lose a case, but when it comes to a high-profile case, like if it's a celebrity case, or if it's or if it's a case where, you know, like the media is watching and stuff like that, they usually try to, like, you know, do their best to, like, prosecute it pretty hard. So I would imagine that the prosecutors are going to, you know, definitely try to at least prosecute this case pretty hard, because like prosecutors can make a name for themselves, you know, if they prosecute, and also, like, you know, like, I guess, like, they're facing an arraignment. See, I actually have, yeah, I actually have, it says, neglect of a minor. I guess they were arrested. It doesn't say cited. So, because I know that with, like, a misdemeanor, sometimes the police can, like, choose to just give you a ticket in which you promise to appear in court, or they can arrest you. Usually they arrest you on misdemeanors. But, you know, they probably bail themselves out or whatever. This is probably why they undercharge them. Why? Because often, like, in a high profile case, they would sort of overcharge them. I don't know about that. Because I mean, like, I don't know, like, what would, like, I don't know too much, like, see, I can look up child abuse charges. And since I haven't seen all the videos, like, I'm not sure what the higher charges are, you know what I mean? Can you search up this video I found, and maybe you know if it's fake? It's called Shadow Creature. I know which video it is, you just have to search it up. Maybe your views know if it's fake. Okay. Is it on YouTube, and you just want me to search up Shadow Creature? I think they overcharged Casey Anthony, and she got off. I think they're trying to be very careful. Well, one thing in general, though, in criminal justice is that they will often, like, overcharge you. Like, the DA will overcharge you, and then they'll try to make a plea in order to, you know, try to get you to make a plea bargain where they try to get you to plead to, like, lesser charges or some of the charges, but not all the charges, because they often overcharge you as almost like a negotiating thing to try to, like, pressure you into a plea bargain. Because, you know, like, most cases don't go to trial. Sometimes, like, even if you're innocent, people will plead guilty to things because, like, sometimes your lawyer will tell you, well, even if you're innocent, they're worried that you could get convicted if you go to trial. And so sometimes they're willing to overcharge people to try to, you know, get them to accept a lesser plea bargain. And they also have a tendency to do that in high-profile cases. I mean, look, like, if 5 years is a long time to go to jail, I mean, it would mean that they wouldn't be able to see their kids for those 5 years. And I don't know that. I mean, how old are their kids? Their kids are, like, I mean, I don't even know how old their kids are, but, like, some of their kids will probably be adults, right? Or maybe their kids aren't that old. I guess they're not that old, but anyway, so you said the name of the video is called Shadow Creature. Is this what you're talking about? Shadow Creature caught in camera? Is that what you're talking about, Jaden?
In 1957, strange sightings were reported by a few of the local townspeople in Emerson County. Then, in 1997, sightings of strange, shadowy beings were captured on video. Less than 2 miles from where the original sightings took place, a video camera was found by a local game hunter. No one has come forward to claim this footage.
Bigfoot, I don't know. I mean, Bigfoot can't hold his camera, right?
Do you see that? Over there, look, over there. Do you see that?
What the hell?
wait. That, because that was it again, right there. Wait.
I don't like this.
You see that? Right there. Look.
Oh my god. That's not an animal. I don't like it.
Okay, fuck. Go.
I'm inclined to think that that's probably fake for a few reasons. Like, it says it was shot in, like, 1957. In 1957, there weren't any people that pretty much had, like, their own... Because this was supposed to be on a video camera, not even on a film camera. Like, there were home film cameras before there were home video cameras. Like, you know, like Super 8 cameras and stuff like that. There were professional video cameras, like, you know, like television cameras back then. So this would have had to have been shot by somebody who had access to an expensive television type camera, you know. Doesn't it say at the beginning? Oh, okay. You know what? Wait, is this the same video? Or is it a different video? Okay, this strange creature, different video, okay.
In 1957,
yeah, so this one is 1957.
By a few of the local townspeople in Emerson County. Then, in 1997,
oh, it says 1997.
Strange, shadowy beings were captured on video, less than 2 miles from where.
Okay, so in 1997, there were a lot of people with video cameras. All right. So, you know that. Okay, so that much so that part, you know, so forget that part, because if it was in 1997, there were people with video cameras. But still, like, I don't know, like, so much of these things, it's like, it's out of focus. You can't really tell what the hell it's in. It sort of looks like something that's, like, camouflaged with the woods or something. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you could sort of do in post-production. It's also the kind of thing that you might be able to do with somebody in a costume. Like, it's not a very clear picture of whatever creature it's supposed to be. That's the thing. It's just sort of like movement of something in the woods. That's why I have a tendency to be very sort of skeptical of these kinds of videos where it's just like, you know, you never, I don't know what the creature even looks like from any frame of this video. I don't know what frozen Coke is. I just heard of it today, but apparently YouNow is like promoting it. I'm very... Okay, go ahead and believe if you want. Thank you, Dale Thomas, for the applause. I very much appreciate it.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't see... I don't see an actual
over
creature there.
Look, over there. Do you see that?
What the hell?
Like, what are you seeing here? I mean, like, if you freeze frame it... I can't full screen it, because then I can't see the chat, but... if you freeze frame it, like, you don't really see anything. It's just sort of like the movement of the bushes and stuff. So I guess it's supposed to be something behind the bushes. I'm just kind of skeptical of that kind of crap. Like, okay, that's like, what do you so there's something that's sort of blurry there. You know, I mean, that's the kind of thing that could be done, you know, in a dark room. It's also could be done, you know, with like editing software or post-production software, you know. I mean, look at that. It's like a... I mean, like, that would be a pretty easy effect to do. Relatively easy, you know, on CGI or something like that. Or even in a dark room. See? Like... But I still don't see a clear...
That was it again, right there. Wait.
I don't like this.
You see that?
Because every time you pause it, you can't really see anything. It's just like the movement of the leaves.
Oh my god. That's not an animal. I don't like it.
Okay, fuck.
Yeah, and also the stuff when they run away. Okay, well then you can't see anything, of course. I don't know. Like it seems a little bit too. I wonder what some of the comments say. I mean, not that the YouTube comments know everything. That's for sure. Can I see comments on this? Okay, it doesn't look fake to me. Well, demon on camera. This is faker than Jimmy Fallon. You know you keep running from your fake creature. You're lucky it wasn't the gay one. He likes to catch people and play. All right, people are funny. That thing ain't fake, Jesus. So okay, I mean, just based on the comments, and it's not like YouTube comments know everything, but not everyone's convinced. Like, look, I didn't see like if it was a more, even if it's like a clear picture of a creature, I would still be somewhat skeptical that it's fake. But with that, it's kind of like something that's like just like behind the woods or something, or maybe like it's like a plant monster. But it seems like it's like most of it is based on the motion of it, not and then like the stuff at the end where they run away and you can't see anything. Well, that doesn't really help. So I'm kind of skeptical of this. But I mean, I guess it could be real. But like, I think that you would probably need more evidence if there is. I mean, they're not even saying what it is. Like, they don't even know what it is. So, like, extraordinary evidence requires extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and whatever they're claiming it is, if they're claiming it's some sort of like Sasquatch or something, that I would need more evidence of an actual Sasquatch existing than that. I think that's not extraordinary evidence, Look in my phone. Okay. I did go to film school. I also went to. I also was a philosophy major at UC Berkeley. So I did both of those things. But I went to film school in Los Angeles, though. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that oh, no problem. I don't mind faking it. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that you can pretty easily like fake, in post-production as well, or even during production. Like if it's like you could put somebody in a costume and like have them move around and stuff. Do I like to travel? Sometimes I like to travel. There are good things about traveling and bad things about traveling. I'm a tendency to since I go to bed late anyway. Like when I hate traveling. Well, I don't hate traveling out of my time zone, but when I travel out of my time zone, like it can really mess up my sleep schedule because like especially if I travel to like the East Coast and it's like wow like I lose 3 hours. I mean it's already like 3 hours later and I go to bed really late anyway. So do I believe in aliens? I do believe that intelligent life exists somewhere in the universe aside from us. And I agree with Carl Sagan that it's quite possible that there's intelligent life that's billions of years ahead of ours because there are stars that are billions of years older than ours, and that meant that there could be solar systems with planets that are like ours. Since the universe is a very big place, it's very unlikely that there is. It does seem like life requires like the perfect fit. Like the Earth is almost like the perfect fit for like a planet for life. We've never found any evidence of life that originated outside of Earth, but the chances are there are other planets like Earth, although they're probably pretty rare. But considering just the sheer size of the universe, there must be some other planets that can handle life, and there probably are some that are billions of years older than ours and like have life that is billions of years more sophisticated than ours. So, I mean, but the thing about Carl Sagan is he was one of the biggest critics, like people like Stanton Friedman. He's an actual scientist. He was a nuclear physicist, but he's now like mostly an advocate of ufology. People will say that ufology is like the study of UFOs. People who say that they're, into ufology usually are people who believe in it. But like the thing about Stanton Friedman is that, he has a graduate degree, not a master's in physics, so he can say that he's a real scientist. I absolutely do believe that, I agree with Carl Sagan that it's absolutely certain that, or 99.9% certain that intelligent life exists. But is intelligent life visiting us? That's very questionable, and that's for that reason a lot of the UFO people can't stand Carl Sagan, even though he was very adamant that he thinks extraterrestrial life exists. There was actually kind of a good interview, because one thing I noticed about some people who believe in aliens, and not all of them are like this, but some people who believe in aliens sort of see aliens, it's kind of like a religion thing. They feel that the aliens are going to come and solve humanity's problems. Humans have fucked up, but the aliens have come here to fix our problems. And do I believe that the alien abduction stories are real? Okay, so I only would... Okay, let's just wait. I only think... Let's see. I think that that's the kind of thing that we require extraordinary evidence before we can believe it. And I think that we would have to give up the idea that the aliens are benevolent, because I don't think the government... if the aliens are really so sophisticated that they can create spaceships that probably travel faster than the speed of light, which might be possible. I mean, Einstein wasn't right about everything, because of course Einstein said nothing can go faster than the speed of light, but Einstein could be wrong. If they have the technology to make spaceships like that, they're not going to, some people say, well, what about we might be shooting down the alien ships? Well, there's no way we would be able to shoot down an alien ship if they've got technology that can travel faster than the speed of light. I mean, the fastest thing we can shoot them with is a missile. They're not going to be hit by a missile. Aliens absolutely exist. There are germs in space, and technically that's life. But have they found germs in space that they know originated from someplace other than planet Earth? Because that would be extraterrestrial life, life that somehow comes from some place other than Earth. I mean, I know that they've brought germs into space and things like that, but they originate on Earth. Do you believe some of the alien abduction stories are real? For the most part, I'm pretty skeptical of the alien abduction stories. I guess, though, if the aliens were more malevolent and that they wanted to sneak around and abduct us, but they weren't really trying to help us, then it would be much more plausible. The idea that the government is, conspiring to keep the aliens quiet, to keep the aliens a secret, I think the only way that would be possible is if the aliens are helping the government. But here, this. If
there are other civilizations,
I agree with Sagan on this stuff.
Much further than we have, they must have very advanced technologies, and I wonder what forms these technologies take.
Well, again, very difficult to estimate, but there are stars which are billions of years older than our sun. Some of them very likely have planets, and therefore I can imagine civilizations immensely beyond the capabilities of our own. What capabilities those are, no one can tell, in the same sense that even the most fantastic prognostications from the middle of the 19th century about the technology of the 20th century all fell short. People like Jules Verne, asked to imagine what transportation devices people would have in 1950, imagined a kind of Victorian living room.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Sagan for the most part.
Furniture in a gondola at the bottom of an enormous balloon which went from New York to San Francisco in only a few weeks. And he was, of course, the most imaginative speculative thinker of the 19th century. Others would have been more cautious.
It's true, people 100 years ago would have not guessed that the internet would be like the way it is.
Even 100 years, when not only new technology, but new scientific principles may be discovered.
So far, we've been talking about contact either by radio or direct physical contact by space probes. But there might be other means of doing it. It does, I know, sound very like science fiction to talk about teleportation or thought travel. But do you think this is entirely out of the question at the moment? And if so, should we be considering it seriously?
Well, there's very little in science which is absolutely out of the question.
but I don't know of any evidence which suggests
you believe in
that
aliens?
we should
Do you believe that
invest
aliens are
time
coming
and
to
money
the
on
Earth?
those particular ventures, although I would not oppose anyone who thought that it was a useful investment of his time.
Then what should we be doing about this research?
I would say that there are several lines of approach, all of which look promising and should be
Paranormally correct?
One is laboratory work on the question of the origin of life, making the molecules which here were able to reproduce themselves and led eventually to us. Secondly, a study of the organic chemistry in places like Jupiter, comets, and the interstellar medium. It's remarkable that the molecules of life are littering the cosmos.
See, so he really does believe
Thirdly,
in life,
the space
extraterrestrial
vehicle
life.
exploration of the neighboring planets, in particular for life or life-related compounds.
Xenomorphs, that
if
would be
it turns
scary.
out, for example, that Mars is lifeless, that is not a major disappointment, because then we have two planets near each other in space and time, life developed on one and not on the other. You have the classic case of an experiment and a control. And it'd be very important to investigate why life on the Earth and not on Mars. But even more exciting would be if Mars turns out to have life.
I think it might go back to the 60s.
What kind of life it is, how similar, how different from life on Earth, that will immensely broaden the science of biology.
He wrote Contact, didn't he?
There is certainly the serious work, long-term, patient,
about the book
cautious investigation of other stars for possible signals being sent our way.
After all, we have made a start, and I'm thinking, of course, of Pioneer 10, which has bypassed Jupiter and is now on its way out of the solar system, carrying a plaque with a message.
Yes, that's right. Pioneer 10 is the first.
So, what did you think of his attitude in that
mankind,
movie?
But only by accident. That is, it was designed to examine Jupiter and came so close to Jupiter that it was ejected from the solar system by Jupiter's gravity. That being the case, we thought it would be a nice idea to have a kind of cosmic greeting card on it in the remote contingency that it were at some future time to be intercepted by some advanced civilization. And so a 6 by 9 inch gold anodized aluminum plaque was designed, which has a mysterious part and an obvious part to it. The mysterious part is the man and the woman to the right of the plaque, and they will be mysterious because there will not be men and women anywhere else. The rest of the message we think is written in the galactic clear, in the one language we have in common with everyone else, namely the language of science. And it essentially indicates the planet from which the spacecraft was launched, the star around which that planet goes. Out of the several 100,000 million stars in the galaxy, it specifies one, and the year of launch out of the 10,000 million year history of the galaxy. And it does it by reference to a set of galactic clocks called pulsars. Well, the chance of this being intercepted is small, precisely because space is so empty. It's traveling so slowly, even though it's the fastest thing we've ever launched, that it will take it 80,000 years to get to the nearest star, but it's not headed towards the nearest star. So it will very likely survive for billions of years, but in the dark of interstellar space. It will be the oldest artifact of mankind, because a billion years from now, mountain building and erosion will have destroyed everything on the Earth, and yet this plaque will remain intact.
So, in fact, the plaque may last longer than the Earth itself, which is really rather a sobering thought.
Yes.
Carl, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
So, I think that, like, if the aliens really are, see, like, did he state in that video, let's see, maybe there's a different, okay, this is a different video where he says,
the galaxy. They would have to construct spaceships that traveled at 670 million miles per hour, the speed of light. A round trip from the vicinity of Proxima Centauri to Earth would take more than 8.5 years of Earth time.
all right, I'm trying to get
So those scientists who are inclined to think the universe may abound in intelligent life tend to believe that God's quarantine, as some of them call the distance which separates us.
No, I don't need to click on the ad. Okay, there. All right, there we go. But I didn't want to do that. All right, so let's go back to, that's actually maybe the video I was thinking of. Okay, so here we go.
Will make radio signals the ultimate form of communication, not spaceships. Great electronic ears have enabled man to listen for electromagnetic signals from the farthest objects in the universe that have so far been detected. This one, 1,000 feet in diameter, in Arecibo in Puerto Rico, is operated by Cornell University for the Advanced Research Projects Agency, and is engaged in a number of deep space and planetary projects. If we are not alone in the universe, instruments like this, pursuing carefully programmed listening exercises, may one day bring us a fateful message. The astronomers have long been the leading theorists on the possibility of life in outer space.
I like this guy.
Astronomer Carl Sagan is consultant to a current Air Force scientific panel. Astronomer Thornton Page was on a CIA committee that investigated UFO reports in 1952. Its conclusion? No evidence of UFOs.
Our panel was expected to be, and I think was, objective in its approach, and tried to evaluate all the reports without saying they're ridiculous in advance. That has been repeated quite recently, and that is a good reason for talking with Carl Sagan here, because he's in the same position that I was, being the only astronomer in a similar panel.
There's not a single verified or checked out report which is at all connectable with the possibility of extraterrestrial life. It doesn't say that I think extraterrestrial life is impossible. Quite the contrary. I think that many of the stars in the sky have planetary systems. We know enough now about the origin of life to make it appear likely that life arises naturally on the vast bulk of these planets. It's possible, but by no means certain, that life on many of these planets evolves into beings which are as advanced as we, or more advanced.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I don't see any reason why we can't imagine that there are civilizations thousands or millions of years in advance of ourselves capable of technical
So he's saying that there could be civilizations
we can hardly imagine. If you would believe, as the flying saucer cultists would have us believe, that the majority of the saucer reports are due to visitations, then you have a very strange situation. That means several spaceships are coming to the Earth over interstellar distances every day, as if all the anthropologists in the world were to converge on one of the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean, because they just invented the fishnet there or something. I think it's much more reasonable if you want to speculate on the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence, that there are very rare visits from extraterrestrials to the Earth. There's no evidence for this. I just say that's not implausible. But to have several visits a day, I think, is straining credulity. I think a key to what's behind
Is this frozen?
the real belief in flying saucers is most easily obtained if you look at the contact myths. There are
this is what I agree
several hundred people in the United States who claim to have had personal contact with the inhabitants of flying saucers who have landed.
Aliens build spaceships?
And
I guess
if
they
you
build them on
examine
their own
these myths, you
planet,
find
right?
that there's some peculiar regularities.
This I
The
know.
inhabitants of saucers are benevolent. I mean, they're really concerned for our well-being. They're omnipotent, extremely powerful, omniscient, extremely knowledgeable,
That's what I noticed.
and they often wear long white robes. Now, this combination is something I've heard in another context. This isn't science, this is religion.
Yeah, that's why that's like a religion thing.
And what I suspect is happening is this. We live in very unsettled times. It used to be possible to believe in a personal, benevolent, powerful, all-knowing God who cared about individuals who you could pray to. But now, there's very few people who really believe that, I think. Science, for good or for ill, has destroyed a lot of the traditional theologies. And yet people have the same needs to believe that they always did, perhaps more so because of the times we live in. Well, the flying saucer myths are a really clever compromise. It's a way of having beings that come from the sky, that are worried about us, that are powerful, that are going to step in and prevent us from destroying ourselves, as we very well might, and yet have it in the cloak of science, so that no one can say nonsense that doesn't match science. It's all very pseudo-scientific.
Right.
I would think that that at least for the contact myths, and probably for a lot of the events of people who just see things they don't understand flying overhead, that what's involved psychology and theology, and not so much the physical sciences.
So, as we have seen, scientists think the evidence is mounting that life in some form exists elsewhere in the universe.
Thanks for coming.
But almost unanimously, they find no evidence that anything out there has come here.
Good night,
One thing is clear. You could not keep a spaceship a secret.
Okay.
Too many professionals with too many powerful instruments are probing the skies these days. Too many journalists could not be restrained from trumpeting one of the greatest news stories of all time.
Yeah, and I agree. So, like, I guess, like, if the aliens are coming, you would have, they're not very benevolent aliens. They're maybe working with the government to, if the government is trying to cover something up, they would need the aliens' help, because the aliens would have to be so far beyond us, technologically speaking, that if they wanted everybody on Earth to know that they're here, there's nothing our government could do. Like, they probably have, they probably have, like, weapons that could just, like, vaporize any nuclear missile we shoot at them. I mean, seriously, like, there's this one Rick and Morty episode where the government decided to shoot their, like, nuclear missiles, like ICBM hydrogen bombs, at, like, these faces from these interstellar spaces, and, like, interstellar faces. I don't know if you guys saw this episode, but, like, the nuclear weapons, like, you know, did nothing to, like, phase, like, the you know, faces from these giant faces from outer space. So the thing is, like, I don't think we could do anything to stop these aliens if they really wanted to take over, if they're that advanced. And I don't think the government could cover them up unless the government was getting assistance from the aliens. I don't think the government, I don't believe that there are benevolent aliens that the government is trying to cover up, and the government is shooting down the planes of the spaceships of the benevolent aliens. I just don't think that the government would have that ability or technology to shoot down such an advanced, because, like, it really would require a very advanced civilization to be visiting us. It would require, you know, like, something that can build spaceships that can go faster than the speed of light. Something that's just so far beyond what we can do right now that, you know, there's no way, if they really wanted us to know that they were here, they would make themselves known. I guess if they didn't want us to know that they were here. So I'll say this: I can believe that maybe there are aliens, like, that are here. Maybe even abductions are real, but it's because the aliens don't want us to know, don't want everyone to know that they're here, and in fact want most people to be pretty skeptical of it. That's because if the aliens really wanted us to know, there's nothing our government could do to stop them. So what do you guys think about that? Hey, Lenore, how's it going? Glad to see Eugenia followed you. Yeah, I agree with, like, the government is just not that clever. So, like, the only way the government could cover it up is if the aliens were helping them. So what do you guys think about on my position? Do you guys think that, because, look, okay, I can accept that maybe there are aliens here. I'm not saying that I'm certain that there are, but for whatever reason, the aliens don't really want everyone to know that they're here, and that's why, you know, because it's not like everybody believes that there are aliens, you know, that if there are aliens, the aliens don't want everyone to know that they're here. I mean, maybe they are ultimately benevolent, and I mean, I guess you could say that maybe they are ultimately benevolent, but, like, as of right now, they're on the down low for whatever reason, that they have their reasons or something. That's possible. Or maybe they're malevolent. Like Stephen Hawking said that, you know, like what Carl Sagan, like, he actually thought that hopefully the aliens are malevolent. That's why he advocated, like, you know, what's, like, CERN. Like, he was actually talking about that in the earlier video where he advocated, like, you know, putting out radio signals into space to try to tell possible alien civilizations that we're here and things like that. and I think it was called CERN. I know that it's actually a government program that broadcasts into space, and that Sagan had a lot to do with convincing the government to do that. And I know that Stephen Hawking thinks that we should not do that, because Stephen Hawking thinks that, like, the aliens are probably going to be a lot more malevolent, and if they find out about the Earth, they would probably just come here and take our resources in the same way that the Europeans took the resources from, you know, the indigenous peoples, you know, in the United States and in Canada and things like that. So that's also a possibility. That the aliens are not really that, or maybe the aliens are benevolent, but they have their reasons for wanting to keep themselves a secret. But I don't think there's enough proof to really be certain that they're here, though. But so what do you guys think? I'm doing good working. Just want to pop in and show some love. Well, thank you for the love, Leonora. I love you too. So what do you guys think about that? Since you guys asked about aliens, I'm inclined to agree with, like, Carl Sagan, is what I'm saying. And Carl Sagan was very adamant about the fact that alien life, sophisticated alien life, probably does exist in the universe that could be well more advanced than ours. He just was pretty skeptical of most of the UFO reports, because he thought that a lot of them seemed sort of like religious, had religious undertones and things like that. I don't know why. Did you get gorgeous? Did I get groceries? Hi, Dad. I love you. Did you get groceries? I did buy some groceries earlier. I don't really believe that aliens exist. They would be here by now. I mean, I believe that there are aliens on other planets far, far away that exist. I do believe that. I think that, like, that's actually a pretty, just by probability, it's very likely that there are other planets that have aliens. Even if it's pretty rare, the universe is just so huge that, you know, like I forget what principle of probability it's called, but, like, if you do something, like, enough times, even unusual things will happen. Like, it's unlikely that you're going to win at roulette. It's like you have a chance of, like, 1 in 35 of winning at a roulette wheel. But if you play a roulette wheel 1,000 times, you're going to probably win a few times. So that it might be low odds of getting a planet like Earth, but there's just such a huge universe that there are other planets that probably can sustain life. They might be very far away, though. I'm not into the whole intelligent alien thing. See, that's the interesting thing, is that, like, see, the people who really believe in, like, UFOs, they can't stand people like Carl Sagan. But Carl Sagan, like, he really was, like, you know, pushes for, I mean, he said that it's not certain, of course, because nothing's certain in science until you can actually prove it. But he says that he was pretty adamant about the fact that the probability that intelligent life exists somewhere else in the universe is quite high. And so, for that reason, he assumes that there is intelligent life somewhere in the universe. It doesn't mean that they're coming here, or anything like that. But I agree that the probability of it happening, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to say that the Earth is, like, the only planet in the whole universe that could possibly have intelligent life. I mean, it's not. There's just with probability speaking, like, it's likely that there are some other planets like this. I got milk at KYY Lie. I got seasoned chicken. Okay. So, interesting, like, views of opinions there, because it's interesting how some people don't believe in intelligent life at all. Like, I definitely do believe that there is a very, very high chance that there is intelligent life in the universe. But whether that intelligent life is visiting us, that's pretty questionable. But somewhere out there, I definitely think that there could be more intelligent life than what exists on Earth. Like, as Sagan said, there could be millions of years ahead of us. And, you know, Sagan was not like a pseudoscientist. He was not like the kind of guy that, you know, like, he was not an ufologist or whatever. I mean, he's the guy who said, like, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. And it's true that, I mean, he acknowledged that there isn't proof of, extraterrestrial life, but he just, going by probability and just how large the universe is, and by the fact that there is one planet that we know of and that does have intelligent life, and that's Earth, it's just very likely that there is another planet out there that can sustain intelligent life, and probably has it. So, is there anything else anyone wants to add? I've had a good time talking about this. I like talking about this. It's interesting. And it is interesting how, because, to UFO people, they hate, Carl Sagan, because even though Carl Sagan was adamant about the existence of intelligent life, they hate the fact that he was very skeptical of, UFOs and stuff like that. So anyway, I guess I've had a pretty good broadcast. I've been on for over an hour and 20 minutes. And thank you guys for coming. And hopefully you guys won't be abducted by any aliens anytime soon, unless that's a good thing. And have a good evening. Bye.